What is up, awesome people of the internet? Guys, welcome to Quita in the Mornings. My name is Quita. We are in the mornings and we're talking about some women's hoops. So I hope y'all are ready for it. Make sure to grab your coffee, grab your tea, grab your orange juice, grab your water, and let's have an awesome time talking about what in the world is going on in specifically the WNBA today. And specifically, we gonna focus on the Chicago Sky today. Because as you all know, I am in Chicago. The Chicago Sky is my favorite team. They are the only team that I actually root for. And they have a lot of newness coming into the season. So we're going to talk about the Chicago Sky. Remember, we are doing a series where we are taking a look at every single team in the W and talking through their training camp rosters. And so if y'all are interested in that, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you can hear your favorite team next. All right, we had the Atlanta Dream yesterday. I thought I was going to be able to get to 2 teams today. Looks like I'm only able to get to 1 team today with the time frame that we have to work with, but I'm gonna try to kick it into gear for the other days so I can get through a whole lot more players and teams. Okay. So as I said earlier, we are talking about the Chicago Sky. The Chicago Sky is a team on the edge of transformation, right? This is a new coach, a lot of new faces, new energy in the building, but this is a team that brings 20 players into training camp. Only 18 players really showed up, so technically 20, really 18 because two were not there, and I'm going to talk about those 2 later on. But this is a team that is a rare team that actually can possibly have 12 teams on it, 12 players on it. Right? I talked about the Atlanta Dream yesterday. The Atlanta Dream can only afford 11 players to fit within the salary cap, stuff. However, for the Chicago Sky, they should be able to make it with 12 players on their roster for opening day. Now, will they have 12 players on their roster? We'll see. But they are not limited to only 11 players. That is something to note. But this means that there's basically 18 players that is fighting for 12 spots. So a lot of people's dreams are going to get crushed. And with that, we head right on into the start of the WNBA training camp, which started yesterday. So yesterday, 18 players came to Saks Recreation Center in Deerfield, Illinois, and was trying their best to do whatever they can possible to make an actual roster spot. So today we're going to break down every single player that showed up to this training camp yesterday, and what questions this team has going forward, and ultimately what the final roster will be. So before we get to this year, let's actually recap about last year. So last year in 2024, it was a rough season for the Chicago Sky. This was a season that the Chicago Sky did not make the playoffs. They barely didn't make the playoffs. They finished with a record of 13-27. That means 13 wins, 27 losses. They finished in 10th place in the WNBA. And here's the deal. This is a team that had a lot of promise throughout the year, but they simply ran out of steam with injuries and just with a whole bunch of stuff towards the end of the season. And the team needed new blood. So new blood came. In came a new head coach. In came a whole bunch of players added to training camp to be able to compete for a spot. And Tyler Marsh is the new head honcho. He steps in after Teresa Weatherspoon's short-lived 1-year tenure for the squad. Marsh is kind of building around 2 players, right? He's building around Camilla and Angel and trying to figure out ways to optimize what they have to offer. And here's the deal. He is doing that by bringing back Courtney Vandersloot. This is a Sky legend who returns to this team, ready to guide this team on into the next generation, right? You also bring in via a trade someone who is absolutely phenomenal in Ariel Atkins, who could just knock down shots left and right. You also build through the draft by drafting Haley Van Lith, Aisha Sayuka in this year's WNBA draft, and there's a lot of question marks about what's going to happen with Sayuka, but the Sky team is building for the future, right? We've seen some smart signings for the Chicago Sky in the free agency period, and the rebuild is here. And this team is looking to not just rebuild, but reload and compete immediatsome a playoff spot. So let's first take a look at some of the core players, I would say, that I think are going to make this team. And also, guys, this is what I'm showing right now is clips. I'm showing clips from training camp. Shout out to Julia Poe, Carly Bell for a posted video. Now, my hope is one day I will be able to actually go to practice and record for myself. I think that would be pretty awesome. But lots of clips of Haley Van Lith working out. A lot of clips of Angel getting her shots in. Just lots of opportunities for this team to continue to grow with their young core for the future. So those are the clips I'm showing right here. But again, shout out to Julia Poe and Carly Bell for the video. Okay. All right. First, let's talk about who I consider 9 players with almost guaranteed spots. So the reason why I say almost guaranteed is because not all of these players are on a guaranteed contract. Only the bolded players are on a training camp contract. But these 9, I think, for the most part, are going to make a roster spot. Okay, so let's actually first start off talking about the general for this team, the point guard for this roster, and her name is Courtney Vandersloot. So Courtney Vandersloot is a 5'8" point guard out of Gonzaga. She has been in the league for a very, very long time. And last year was an off year for her. Last year, she did not play the full season. She was, last year she played for the New York Liberty. She didn't play the full season. Her mom had some health challenges and ultimately, unfortunately, ended up passing away. And so she missed some time with the New York Liberty this past year. And due to that, we saw Sabrina Ionescu kind of step into that point guard role. And so when Courtney Vandersloot kind of came back, it wasn't the same, right? It wasn't the same in terms of her effectiveness on the court. However, she's back with the Chicago Sky, a team that she actually was drafted by. She's been with the Chicago Sky since 2011. She left in 2023. Now Courtney Vandersloot is back and ready to sort of lead the charge for this new generation Chicago Sky roster. We also have Mariah Jefferson. Mariah Jefferson is someone who came to the Chicago Sky via a trade last year. If y'all remember, the Chicago Sky had a trade with the Connecticut Sun, which ultimately brought Mariah Jefferson to this squad. Here's the thing with Mariah Jefferson. Courtney Vandersloot is not on a guaranteed contract, which is going to be guaranteed because she's definitely going to be on the same. But Mariah Jefferson is on a guaranteed contract. She is on a guaranteed contract. Remember, guys, this graphic shows the 4 players that are on a guaranteed contract. Mariah Jefferson, Ariel Atkins, Rachel Banham, Rebecca Allen. Mariah Jefferson is on a guaranteed contract, and she's getting a significant amount of money. This is one of those things. This is one of those sort of casualties of these. This is sort of like a casualty of the cap barrier, right? Mariah Jefferson is getting quite a bit of money, and it just doesn't equal out to her production on the court. Mariah Jefferson is a good backup. However, for the amount of money that they're spending for Mariah Jefferson, because again, it's on a guaranteed contract, it's a tough battle. It's a tough battle with Mariah Jefferson. And yes, Kristen, you're right. Yeah. means they're either stuck with her or they have to buy her out. And at this point, I feel like if the Sky were going to buy out Mariah Jefferson, they would have done so already. I don't think that they're going to buy her out. So it looks like we will see Mariah Jefferson on this final roster. That's why I put her in that sort of guaranteed spot, because she is on a guaranteed roster. Okay? All right. Mariah Jefferson this past year averaged 1.3 points a game. She is a 5'6" point guard. All right. Let's continue on. All right. Next up, we have Ariel Atkins. Ariel Atkins is a huge trade that the Chicago Sky ended up getting. Ariel Atkins was with the Washington Mystics last year. And Ariel is fan-freaking-tastic. She's a 5'10" shooting guard out of Texas. And she's been in the league for a while now, and she's absolutely rocking out. This is someone who has spent her entire career up to this point with the Washington Mystics. She is someone who can knock down shots. She can knock down threes at around 35%. Shooting. She's someone who can get in the mid-range, make some stuff happen, get to the rim. And ultimately, she's someone where if you need a bucket, just give her the basketball and have her do something great. Now, last year, she averaged 14.9 points a game, 3.1 assists per game, and 3.4 rebounds a game for the Washington Mystics. Again, this was the huge pickup that the Chicago Sky made via a trade. Okay, this was when they traded. Their one of their first round picks, and there was a lot of speculation, a lot of anger that some people felt, but ultimately this turned out to be a really, really good trade for the Chicago Sky. And Ariel Atkins is definitely going to be someone who can just give her the ball and watch her work. That type of thing. All right, let's continue on. Let's talk about Rachel Bannum. Rachel Bannum is another player who is on a guaranteed contract for the Chicago Sky. And here's the deal. She's a 5'10" shooting guard out of Minnesota. This is someone who can get streaky really, really fast. Now, while she is also on a guaranteed contract, I don't think the Chicago Sky will buy her out, only because Rachel Bannum can shoot for days. And if we know anything about Tyler Marsh, we know that Tyler Marsh loves shooters. That's what he loves. And because of that, I do think ultimately, Rachel Bannum will not get bought out. She will be on this team come next year. This is someone who, at one point in her career, she was shooting around 46% from the three, right? This is someone who can knock down a three. Now, last year, she wasn't as effective from the three. She was about 38% from the three, but still pretty decent. But I think Tyler Marsh for sure wants her to get back to that sort of 45% three-point shooting style, because that really would help out the Chicago Sky. Now, again, she is on a guaranteed contract. I don't think there's any change is going to happen. I don't think any change is going to happen to their to the contract for Rachel Bannum, because she, again, is someone who can shoot, and you're just not going to let that walk away, right? She definitely is a way better shooter than Mariah Jefferson, and I think ultimately that's why maybe there's a chance that they could buy out Mariah Jefferson. I don't think they buy out Rachel Bannum at all. All right, let's continue on. We got Rebecca Allen from Australia. Rebecca Allen is someone who can play that. She can sort of play multiple positions. Rebecca Allen can be a shooting guard. She can be a small forward. She can do a little bit of everything. This is someone who did get injured last season. Remember, guys, last season was the year of the Olympics, and while Beck Allen was training with the Australian national team, she ended up getting hurt, and so she only played half of the season last year. She played with the Phoenix Mercury. So these stats: 7.4 points, 3.9 rebounds. That is from the first half of the year for Rachel Bannum last season, and I believe she's fully healthy now, and I will ultimately see what she is able to do with the Chicago Sky. This was another pickup that the Chicago Sky ended up getting in the offseason. All right, next up, we talk about Michaela Onyenwere. Michaela Onyenwere is one of the most exciting players for the Chicago Sky. I have absolutely loved watching Michaela Onyenwere play. I think she is someone who can just do whatever this team needs her to do. She can absolutely be a big impact for the squad. This is someone who can get to the rim and score. She could play defense. Put her anywhere. She could be a small forward. Sometimes she could even play a power forward, depending on if you want to play small ball. This is someone who can just absolutely make an impact wherever on the court she needs to be. And this is, I'm excited to ultimately see how Michaela Onyenwere continues to grow. Right, I thought we saw some really good sparks last season from her, and I'm excited to ultimately see what she is able to do this upcoming season. All right, next up, let's talk about Angel Reese. She had a all-rookie season last year. She had some huge off-season development with Unrivaled, and Angel is primed for a really good sophomore leap. She has the rebounding, she has the toughness, she has the swag, and ultimately she is one of the most vocal players for the Chicago Sky, especially as a young player, which is just kind of fascinating to see. She is a 6'3" power forward from LSU. Last season, she averaged 13.6 points a game, 13.1 rebounds a game, 1.9 assists per game, and 1.3 steals per game. All right, let's continue on, guys. Let's talk about Kamilla Cardoso. Hey, the reason why I had to put them two together is because, to me, I think of them two as entwined in a lot of ways. Angel and Kamilla are the huge bright spots for the Chicago Sky team for the future. And Kamilla Cardoso, towering at 6'7", she's a center who has showed flashes of dominance as a rookie. We all saw how she kind of dominated overseas in China, and ultimately, Kamilla Cardoso is going to be healthy coming into the regular season, because that was a thing for her last season. Last season we saw Kamilla Cardoso get hurt before the season started, and so she missed the first several games, and she kind of played catch up for the remainder of the year. And I'm excited to ultimately see what Kamilla can do healthy to start off the season. This is someone who is very impactful. She can make buckets in the paint. She can play some really good defense. She is just someone who, again, 6'7". You can't really teach that. Last season, she averaged 9.8 points a game, 7.9 rebounds a game as well. And the Twin Towers, hey, we excited. We excited to see what Kamilla and Angel Reese can do this upcoming season. I think it's going to be very, very fun with those two players. All right, let's continue on. Next up, we have Elizabeth Williams. And Elizabeth Williams is someone who I felt like her and Elizabeth Williams and Kamilla Cardoso kind of like tag team last year, where Elizabeth was in while Kamilla was out. And then once Kamilla really got healthy, Elizabeth went down. And so I'm excited to ultimately see a healthy Elizabeth Williams coming into this year. She is a veteran of veterans. She is someone who can absolutely make an impact. She's a defensive anchor for the Chicago Sky. She's a very respected locker room voice. And ultimately, I do think that Elizabeth Williams does come off the bench for the Chicago Sky in that center position. I do think that Kamilla ends up starting, but you always want a player like a Elizabeth Williams to come in the game, because hey, if the youngins are getting frazzled and whatnot, put Elizabeth in the game. Put her in the game. Have her be the calming force. Someone who can be impactful from both the offensive and defensive end. Okay? All right. And she's a 6'3" center from Duke. Okay. Those are the players who I think are kind of guaranteed. And now I want to talk through the battle for three. The battle for three. We have a lot of players battling for 3 spots on this roster. Again, as I said, it's probably gonna be 9 players who kind of have it locked for the most part, guaranteed spots on this team. And because the Chicago Sky can afford to have 12 players on the roster. Assuming that 2 of those players are rookies, they can make some stuff happen. So here is what I anticipate for this upcoming season for this battle of three. First off, we have Hailey Van Lith in there. She is the player that the Chicago Sky ended up picking up early in this 2025 WNBA draft. When I think about Hailey Van Lith, I think of somebody who can try to do both, right? One of the things that Hailey Van Lith is going to learn, I already saw some clips about of Courtney Vandersloot kind of like teaching Hailey Van Lith, but I think Hailey Van Lith is going to possibly be a backup point guard for Courtney Vandersloot, and also I could see her being sort of a shooting guard as well. So she's someone who can do a little bit of everything for this squad, and ultimately the Sky picked her at 11 for a reason, right? They picked her at 11 for a reason. This is someone who has won a lot of awards in college. This is someone who has consistently made the Elite Eight basically every single year in her college career. She holds the all-time NCAA record for games played and started. But again, she went for 5 seasons, so that's something to note. This is someone who averaged 15.2 points a game, 4.1 rebounds a game, 3.4 assists per game in her college career. And she shot the ball decently well. 33% shooter from the three, 42% shooter overall. And we'll ultimately see how she ends up playing for this Chicago Sky team. But again, I do see her as a hybrid 1 and a 2. All right, next up we have Kia Nurse, who is signed for this team. Now, I kind of was thinking, okay, when I was making that sort of guaranteed 9 list, I was thinking about, okay, should it be a guaranteed 10 list? Because I do think, even though Kia Nurse is not on a guaranteed contract, I do think that Kia Nurse will make this roster, right? Kia Nurse is a 6-year WNBA vet. Last season, she averaged 7.6 points a game with the LA Sparks. This is someone who is very, very streaky. Kia Nurse can get hot really quick and just drain shots left and right. But also, she can get cold. And, not be so hot as well. But she is someone who can add a lot of versatility to the Chicago Sky. Again, veteran leader. I don't see an instance where Tyler Marsh ends up waiving her. So again, it's pretty much guaranteed, but it's not guaranteed. So that's why I wanted to include it here. Again, my thought process, like sometimes I want to explain my thought process just so you all can kind of understand. The reason why I say that these are guaranteed is because these 4 in bold, Mariah Jefferson, Ariel Atkins, Rachel Banham, Beck Allen, they are all on guaranteed contracts. But Courtney Vandersloot, Michaela Onyenwere, Angel Reese, Camila Cardoso, Elizabeth Williams, if those players got cut, everybody would be like, what in the world? Like, even though those players who are unbolded are not on guaranteed contracts, Tyler Marsh and Jeff Pagliacca would be crazy to end up waiving them. Now, do I think it's likely that they end up waiving Kia Nurse? No, but I don't think people would be as shocked and or mad, right? And so yeah, Kia Nurse is basically guaranteed. Technically, she's not guaranteed, and so and there's a small chance, I would say maybe 5% chance that they end up waiving her, but I don't anticipate that happening. Okay, I don't anticipate that happening. We'll see. Could I be wrong? Sure. But that is why, for those who are wondering, why in the world didn't you include Kia Nurse in that other section? Well, that's why. So hopefully that does make sense. Also, the Chicago Sky ended up picking up Alex Wilson. She goes by Allie Wilson. She is someone who has been playing overseas in Australia. She played for Perth, the Perth Lynx. And this is someone who averaged 15.7 points a game, 4.8 assists per game, 4.7 rebounds a game for Perth. This is someone who who is short. She is 5'9". However, she can score. She can score, and she has been playing pro basketball for a very, very long time. Okay. Patrick says, Mariah, a lock, really? Patrick, did you just hear what I said? The reason why I have Mariah Jefferson in here as a lock is because she is on a guaranteed contract. All right, the players in bold, Mariah Jefferson, Ariel Atkins, Rachel Banham, Rebecca Allen, they are all on guaranteed contracts, which means if the Chicago Sky want to waive her, they have to pay her out. Okay? That is why she's on the lock, is because if you want to get rid of her, you got to pay her. You got to pay her. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay. It says it right here. The battle for 3. There's 3 spots. 3 spots. The Sky are going to have 12 players on. They can have 12 players. Now, will they? They can go with 11 if they want to, but they have the ability. They have the ability to sign 12 if they want, assuming that the players that they sign are very low contracts, which they can do. All right. Okay. Anyway, that's Alex Wilson. Again, short player. She can score. She's a really good scorer. She has done well in Australia. Also, this is someone who has a lot of 3x3 experience as well. Ultimately, I don't see her making the roster, but I think it's cool that she was invited to the training camp for the Chicago Sky. I think it's awesome that she was invited. Is she going to make the roster? No, she's not. I don't think that's a thing. All right, we also have Arella Garantis, who was added to the training camp roster as well. This is someone who is a 5'11" shooting guard. She came from Rutgers. This is someone who was drafted in 2021. Ultimately ended up out of the league. She is someone who has played a lot of basketball in Puerto Rico. Also, she was teammates with Camila Cardoso for the Shanghai Swordfish. Like, remember in the offseason, I forgot to mention this, but in the offseason, Camila Cardoso played for China, played in China for the Shanghai Swordfish, and one of her teammates was Arella Garantis, and sometimes it helps to have good teammates, okay? Sometimes it does help. All right, and so we do see the Chicago Sky pick her up. This is someone who with the Shanghai Swordfish, she averaged 18.3 points a game, 5.7 rebounds a game, 3.9 assists per game. She can ball. It's just that at this point in the WNBA, I don't see her actually making a roster spot. Okay, but again, it's awesome that these players are getting a look, but I don't see her making it. All right. We also have Aisha Kubali, who was drafted by the Chicago Sky. She is still rehabbing an injury, so she was not there at training camp. Started yesterday. She was not there. I don't anticipate her being ready to play at all. So she's not going to be on this team for this upcoming year. But the Chicago Sky, will retain her rights, and she'll likely play with the Chicago Sky next season. But this season she will not play because she's injured. Right. Aisha Siuka is another player. Again, I bolded those 2 players because Siuka is another player who likely will not be coming over to play in the WNBA this year. Siuka, in my opinion, was one of those like draft and stash type of players. She's not going to be with this team next year, but the Chicago Sky will keep her rights, and hopefully she will come to America eventually and play in the WNBA, but I don't anticipate her playing for this team this year. Again, she was another player who was not with the squad yesterday. So again, training camp started yesterday. She was not with the Chicago Sky. Okay. All right, let's continue on. I want to kind of quickly run through the rest of this stuff. We have Tilly Bowler, who was also signed with the Chicago Sky as well. She's a 6'1" guard or shooting guard / small forward from the University of Memphis. she was pretty good in college. She averaged 10.3 points a game, 3.4 rebounds a game. This is someone who started her college career off at Jackson State, ultimately did transfer to Memphis in her final season of college basketball. She can knock down shots. This is someone who was 37% from the three, right? She can absolutely make an impact from the three. But ultimately, again, I think it's a great thing that she got picked up in training camp. But I don't see her making this team. Okay, I don't see her making it. All right, we also have Sammy Huisis on this team as well. She is a 6'1". She's a 6'1" small forward as well. This is someone who also played in college. She played at South Florida. And she was a starter for the most part, basically her entire college career. She averaged 10 points a game in college. And again, it's a great thing that she got added to this roster. Again, she's someone else who can knock down threes. What you have noticed is that the Chicago Sky, they've invited a lot of three-point shooters to their training camp, again, to just challenge the players. Even if they don't make a roster spot, it's going to challenge everybody else to up their game, which is very, very good. All right. We also have Maddie Westbeld as well. Maddie Westbeld was a player who was drafted by the Chicago Sky sort of later in, she is someone who can play that small forward position really well. She defends well. But one of the things is she ready for the WNBA just yet? This is someone who came off an injury this past season with Notre Dame, and ultimately I don't think she ever returned back to where she was pre-injury. And so that's the thing. Does she make a roster? Question mark more later. But I just think that this is someone who may just be a year or two away from being a constant in the WNBA. All right. Next up, we have Morgan Birch. Morgan Birch, y'all may remember her if y'all have been a fan of the Chicago Sky for a while. You probably know Morgan Birch because Morgan Birch was a player who was on the Chicago Sky. The Chicago Sky had Morgan Birch on their team before. She returns back to the Chicago Sky, which I absolutely love. She was drafted in 2019 by the Dallas Wings, ultimately made her way eventually to the Chicago Sky. And I'm just excited. She was with the Chicago Sky in 2023. I was a big fan of Morgan Birch. I think she is a great backup power forward. She is someone who can knock down mid-range jumpers. And I ultimately think that she is going to be a fun player to watch. She does have a chance. Of making this roster. And then finally, we have Jessica Carter. Jessica Carter was picked up by the Chicago Sky. And ultimately, again, she's a tall player, I believe 6'5", center, very physical. She is someone who can make a big impact. But, I don't see her making this team. This is the tough part about the WNBA. Players who are good, players who have potential, will get cut. They will get cut, guys. This is someone who played at Mississippi State. Ultimately did do her big one at Mississippi State. Like, she was fantastic. And this is someone who was a late sign to the Las Vegas Aces. I think she played like 2 games for the Aces last season. And ultimately we'll see what she does in training camp. But again, it's an uphill battle, almost impossible for her to make this roster. I don't see Jessica Carter making the roster. All right, but those are all the players on the Chicago Sky right now. So there's some major questions that we need to ask. Some major questions, all right? And those questions are, can Courtney Vandersloot still be elite? Courtney Vandersloot is an excellent player. We've talked about how great she is in the past. Like, she's great. However, she is older, right? This is someone who's 36 years old, won't be in the league for that much longer. Is she still elite? Because if she is, I think we can see the Chicago Sky offense hum. But if not, the Chicago Sky are going to have to develop that next player to sort of take over. And maybe that's Haley. It's going to be an uphill battle, but I think that's a potential right there. But how elite will Courtney Vandersloot be from the jump? And will she be back to like her old self with the Chicago Sky? Because I've been a Chicago Sky fan for forever, and I remember when this guy drafted Courtney Vandersloot and just like how she has developed as a player. Like, I'm a huge fan of Courtney Vandersloot. I think she's a fantastic point guard, one of the best point guards in the league, and this is if she could return back to where she was 3 seasons ago. Oh, she has it. She has it. And we saw spurts of like her her play in Unrivaled, and I thought that was great as well. I think maybe that helped her for this upcoming season. Patrick, no, she should not come off the bench and mentor Haley Van Lith. No, she should not. No. Faye says she is out of her prime. However, she still has a lot to offer. It's just how much is the question. How much is the question? Okay. Another question is, how much has Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso grown? Angel played in Unrivaled. We all saw her development there. Camila played over in China. We saw her dominating over there. Their development will be the defining characteristic of whether or not the Chicago Sky are a sneaky playoff team or another lottery team. Another question is, who's the real backup? You got Haley Van Lith. You got Mariah Jefferson. These are 2 short players, and realistically, it would be preferable if the Sky only had one of those. Like, now you got 2 players who can kind of be that point guard. Is it Mariah Jefferson? Is it Haley Van Lith? Who gets a lot of the minutes? What happens to Aisha Siuka? I put that as a question mark, but I kind of answered it earlier. She's not going to come over for the Chicago Sky this upcoming season. This is more of like a draft and stash type of deal with her. But yeah, even though this guy picked her up early, she will not be likely with this team this upcoming year. All right. And also there's a question mark of, is there enough shooting on this team? You have some players who can be very streaky from the floor with the Chicago Sky team. Will they actually be able to knock down shots when it matters the most? I think that's a huge question mark. Okay? Which leads me to strengths and weaknesses. All right? Here are the strengths and weaknesses as I see it right now. A huge strength is front court power. You have the likes of Camila Cardoso, Elizabeth Williams, Angel Reese. Like, this is a fantastic front court that is going to give the league fits all season. All right? Give them fits. All 3 of these players are really good defenders who can not only slide their feet, but can block shots, can rebound, can do a little bit of everything. So the front court is great. It is absolutely great. Now, another strength is veteran experience. You got Courtney Vandersloot, you got Ariel Atkins, you got Kia Nurse, you got Elizabeth Williams. So many veterans are on this team. And what that means is that these younger players are going to be able to learn a whole lot quickly. Because you're talking to players who have won championships, players who have been key pieces on a franchise, players who have gone through the tests and trials of a WNBA season, right? I think that's huge. That's absolutely huge. Also, you're going to have the potential for elite rebounding and second chance scoring. We all know how great of a rebounder Angel is, and that's something that she's going to, again, bring again to the squad. And with a healthy Elizabeth Williams, you're going to see a whole lot more opportunities for this squad to be able to rebound a basketball at an elite fashion, both on the offensive and defensive end, and on the offensive end, get opportunities for second chance points. All right. I'm looking forward to seeing offensive rebounds that's kicked out to the 3-point line for a 3-point shot. Like, that's what I'm looking forward to. And I think that's what we will see quite a bit with the Chicago Sky this upcoming year. All right, now that leads us to the potential weaknesses. Perimeter shooting. Yes, you have players who can shoot on this team. However, consistency is a thing. Also, depth at the point guard position. You have 2 potential players who can play that backup point guard role. However, who wins out? That's a huge question. Who in the world wins out? So, with all of that being said, here is who I have making the final roster for the Chicago Sky. So, the starters for this team, I have Courtney Vandersloot, Ariel Atkins, Michaela Onyenwere, Angel Reese, and Camila Cardoso. Off the bench, I have someone who will be first up off the bench is going to be Elizabeth Williams. You got Beck Allen, Rachel Banham, Mariah Jefferson, Kia Nurse, Haley Van Lith, and there's a question mark of who that last player is going to be. All right. Now, the reason why I bolded Mariah Jefferson is because there is a slim chance that the Chicago Sky end up buying her out. Do I think it's crazy likely? No, but it's possible that they end up buying her out. Also, guys, the battle for the 3 is going to be won by Kia Nurse, Haley Van Lith, and there's a question mark for that last player. The Chicago Sky need a backup for Angel. Yes, Michaela Onyenwere can play the power forward position as needed sometimes. However, you need a taller backup. And you have 2 options, Maddie Westbell or Morgan Birch. I'm putting the slight edge to Morgan Birch. Like, I think she has like a 60 to 70% chance that she ends up getting it because she has a lot of experience in the WNBA. I mean, not a whole lot, but definitely a lot in terms of Maddie Westbell. This is someone who I think can be ready out the door. And ultimately, I just think that veteran presence is really going to help Morgan Birch. She's been with this team before. She's been there, done that, knows how to stay on a roster, knows how to just do the little things well and just not make a lot of mistakes. So Morgan Birch, I do have her just edging out. I have her just edging out against Maddie Westbell, but in a lot of ways, it's still pretty neck and neck. So that's why I put them both there. I think Morgan Birch is going to win out, but yeah, that's what we got. So Courtney Vandersloot, Ariel Atkins, Michaela Onyenwere, Angel Reese, Camila Cardoso, Elizabeth Williams, Beck Allen, Rachel Banham, Mariah Jefferson, Kia Nurse, Haley Van Lith, and either Maddie Westbell or Morgan Birch. All right, that is my look at the Chicago Sky. That is my look at this team, and ultimately, an opportunity for us to really just talk through this and see what the squad is going to look like come next season. I, for one, am very excited about it. I hope you all are as well. I think it should be a pretty interesting year. The Chicago Sky are not trying to just stay relevant. They are trying to build the next great era for the Chicago Sky. They have new leadership. They have young stars. They have old champions back in the fold. And they might just, get ready for the future now. I think that this roster that the Chicago Sky are going to have, I think it's going to be very, very interesting. I think it's going to be a fun team. I do think this team makes the playoffs. This is a team that not only will make the playoffs, I don't think they're going to have that last spot. I think this is a team that could be sort of like that 5, 6, 7 positioning in the playoff race. I think this is a team that is going to surprise some people because some people look at the players on this roster and they're like, I don't know how that fits. But every single player is on there for a very specific reason. Courtney Vandersloot, leadership, floor general, right? That's what she brings to this team, right? You have Ariel Atkins, shooter. Give her the ball and she'll get you a bucket type of player. You got Rachel Banham, streaky shooter. Who can light it up at times. Remember, guys, this is the same Rachel Banham last year that knocked down 6 threes in a game. Last year when Rachel Banham was with the Connecticut Sun, she had 22 points in a game where she knocked down 6 threes. She can be streaky. That's why she's on this team. Okay? You also got Beck Allen, someone who can just put her head down, get a bucket for you, someone who can sometimes knock down a 3-ball pretty efficiently. This is someone who also can get streaky, right? There was a game last year against the New York Liberty where we saw Beck Allen, she knocked down 5 threes in a game. There's a reason for the players who have made it on this team. Michaela Onyenwere is someone who is a Swiss Army knife. She can do a little bit of everything for this team, right? She can. You got Angel, rebound, working on her 3-point game. You have Camila Cardoso, who is just a powerhouse down low. You got Elizabeth Williams with her leadership. This is a team that has a lot of potential, a whole lot of potential. And the question mark is just how does it all fit together? How does it all fit? You have a elite former assistant coach, now head coach in Tyler Marsh, who is looking to make an impact. And he's not looking to just exist. No, this man is looking to win. He's looking to win games, to ultimately get the Sky to a WNBA championship in the next 3-ish years. This is a really good training camp roster. There's a lot of players who will not make the roster. However, I do like that they were included, and we'll ultimately see how things end up from here. Again, guys, this has been my deep dive into the Chicago Sky. What did you think? You have thoughts? You have comments? Let me know in the chat. I got probably about 5 minutes, and then I have to go. Wow, thank you so much for the super chat. Really do appreciate it. It says, Angel brings another level of play out of everyone. These older vets will get a recharge from her infectious energy and do good things. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree. Totally agree. The perspective, thank you so much for the super chat, says 99 likes, 438 viewers is crazy. Spam that like button. Yes. Please hit that like button, guys. These videos take a long time to do. The reason why I only got to 1 today and 1 yesterday is because it takes a very, very long time to construct this deep dive. I don't know if anybody else is doing this. And the reason why they're probably not doing it is because it takes forever. It takes a really long time to do. And to do it well. And so I really do thank y'all so much for rocking with me. Make sure to hit that like button. It really does help the channel out a whole lot. And, I'm going to do this stuff regardless, but it does give a little incentive when I'm like, oh man, this many people actually checked it out. This many people liked it and whatnot. It truly does mean a lot. It really does. For me, this means a lot. And again, guys, I do this not because there's money in it, because it's not much at all. I still have an actual job because I need actual money. But I do this because I love it. I do this because I think this is awesome. I do. Literally no one's doing these deep dives like I am. And if they are, they're probably doing a really quick dive, and probably not talking about everybody. Because this takes a long time to do it well and not just through it, even though I like to say this is a thing that I enjoy, and so I'm gonna do it. All right, but again, if y'all could hit that like button, if y'all could tell a neighbor, tell a friend about this, it really does help out the channel a whole lot. Okay. All right. So yeah, I'm going to have more teams tomorrow. I'm going to try to do at least 2 to 3 teams tomorrow. So yes, make sure to join me for another edition of Quita in the Mornings. This has been Quita in the Mornings. If this is, if you like this, tell people, it really does help. If we can grow this thing, I'm telling you guys, if we can actually grow this thing into into a thing that actually consistently gets numbers and consistently does well, maybe this could be a career. As of right now, this can't be. But maybe in the future. If we can keep going, okay? W. Bazil says, are the players sequestered during training camp, or do they go home every evening? I assume rookies and invitees probably don't have homes in Chicago. I believe the Chicago Sky has housing during training camp. Definitely for the regular season, the Chicago Sky have every WNBA team has housing during the regular season. But I am like 95% sure that they do have housing for training camp as well. And so players that just stay wherever the team has housing, yeah. But yeah, if someone lives in like New Jersey, they're not going to New Jersey after every practice. They're staying in Chicago at some facility or some building that the Chicago Sky rents. Is my assumption for training camp. I know for sure all WNBA teams provide housing for the actual season. I do believe they also do it for training camp as well. I'm trying to keep the consistency. I'm trying. There are some days where I am exhausted, but I'm trying. Trying to keep this up every single day, okay? Always appreciate you, Nancy. Always appreciate you. Ernest says, well, you don't get that until 100,000 subscribers. And I don't know if I'll ever get there. I think it would be awesome to get there, but I don't think so. I don't think so. Kay says, keep going, Quita. It's for love, and we love you, and for all the hard work others are noticing. You are being heard by many. I hope so. I hope people are noticing. Oh, thanks, FaZe. I appreciate that. Because as time goes on, we will see more people doing what I am doing. But truly, I consider myself one of one. I really do. Just because I really am in a unfair advantage, primarily because I've been obsessed with the WNBA for over 20 years. Like I've been obsessed, and so like I just have a lot of knowledge, a lot of insight, a lot of like random stuff that I know, and I love to research. That's another thing that I just like as an unfair advantage. I would say I love to research. I love to rock out, and I try my best to not I'm not gonna take the easy way out, and I think that's another unfair advantage. Like you could take the easy way out and do stuff that'll get you certain views and whatnot, but try to do it the right way. And slower. It's a slower climb, but hopefully it's a steady climb, less erratic climb as I talk through. All right. Emmanuel says, do you apply for press passes with your channel? You could definitely get them for WNBA events and stuff. Yeah, I was sent the link to the Sky press area and how to reach out to them, and so I'm gonna try to. Right? I am going to try to. Hopefully I can be able to go to media day. I think that'd be really, really, really fun. That'd be really fun. Thank you so much, Felicia, for the super chat. Salute to you. Thank you. Says, let's remember that these athletes see our input. Let's try to keep positive vibes this year. Sky fans can go in harder than non-fans. Please also let's help keep their spirits up. It matters. Here's the deal. I think this is not necessarily Sky specific, more like fandom specific in general. Like fans tend to go harder on their team than anybody else because you just want it more. You just want it more for your team, and you just come on. And sometimes you can get really, 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 really negative and tear down some of the people that you're trying to uplift, right? And so for the Chicago Sky fans who are watching this, I mean, hey, this might be a rocky season at times. However, I do ultimately think, assuming no injuries. Now, if players get injured, if key players get injured, then this might be a terrible season. But assuming no injuries for the Chicago Sky, I think this is going to be a really great building year, and we'll ultimately see how things rock out from here. Okay. All right. Lindy says, Quita, you need to start making connections, start doing some collaborations. Lindy, the problem is I don't have any time. I think that's the problem. Lindy, that is the problem. I don't have time. Like, I literally wake up really early to prep and get ready for these streams. And then right after the stream is over, I go to work. And I do like 8 or 8.5 hours, something like that. And then once I'm done with work, I then take a quick break or whatever. Sometimes I try to decompress or whatever. And then start to get ready for the next morning and the show. Like, I don't have time to do collaborations. Like, I think in theory that would be excellent. That would be really, really excellent. It's just I just don't have time. Like, I just don't. To do this morning daily show well takes a lot of time. It really does take a lot of time. All right, so unfortunately, I don't think that's happening. Where I'll be doing a lot of collaborations. Yeah, so that's the thing. Aisha. Thank you so much, Aisha, for the super chat. Says, you are like my best friend, my best never met friend. I tell my wife about our legendary basketball conversations, LOL daily. See, here's the deal. Here's the deal. Like, we all vibing in this community together, okay? We all vibing in this community together. I really do like to think of you guys as my internet friends. I like to think of you guys as my internet friends who I may or may not ever meet in person. But if y'all at a Sky game, hit me up. I sit in the same area every time. I'm a little awkward in person, so like, don't mind me and my awkwardness. But we're like a weird family on this channel. We're like a weird family. All right. Anyway, I don't have nothing else to say. And I don't think we have any other super chats coming through. Tulip says, Quita, you should do the Sun and Valkyrie in one stream, as it's purely a guessing game. Both new teams, essentially. Yeah, I'll probably do that. I'll probably do that. Anyway, y'all have a good one. I don't have nothing else to say. Yes, a weird family. A weird family. A weird family. Yes, that's what we are. That's what we are doing. That's what we are doing. Rotu says, Quita, you are doing an amazing job, especially with your schedule and dedication and information you give is top notch. Well, salute to you. I appreciate you. Appreciate you rocking with me. Jay says, what about 10-minute guest spots on your channel? It's a way of collaborating without too much effort. The topic can always be, again, that sounds interesting. I just don't think realistically, I just don't think realistically that's likely. Only because bringing somebody else on this channel, it's too much communication I have to do beforehand, and making sure like they're the right fit, and like that's the thing. Like, I'm very like particular about what actually shows up on my channel, and so like that's a whole thing there. But again, in theory, all of that sounds great. I just, at this point in my life, with all the stuff I have going, with the fact that I don't even do this full time. Like I just can't do it. The main collaboration I have, yes, Aisha, is Mama. That is, yes. Mama is my collaboration person. Okay. That's my collaboration person. Thank you so much, Alicia, for the super chat. Salute to you. Says, have a good day. Well, you too. Don't just have a good day. Have a great day. Have a awesome, joyous day. Okay. So, Mama and Daddy are my collabs. Okay, they are my collabs. And it's a lot easier with them than somebody else because I could literally just call them and be like, "Hey, Mama, can you come on the channel?" It's way easier than trying to collab with someone I don't know. So yeah. Anyway, that's that. All right. Anyway, y'all have a good one. I will see y'all in the next one. Have a great day. Hit that like button on y'all way out. Also, make sure to tell a neighbor, tell a friend that Quita Loves Sports is on the internet talking about women's basketball every single morning. Please share this on Reddit. Share this on Twitter. Share this on Blue Sky. Share this everywhere to let people know that that this is a thing. This is happening. And like this channel, I want to be the number one source for all things women's basketball. Not just not stupid drama. Like real, the real about what's happening in women's basketball. Not speculation and changing your mind several times about the same topic because you want to make a separate video. Like, nah. Real topics, like specific, to the point. Even though I am long-winded. I know that. I'm sorry. I am long-winded. Anyway, y'all have a good one. I'll see y'all next one. Love y'all. And if you cannot have a good day, don't mess up nobody else's. Like Auntie Tab says. Don't mess up nobody else's day up. It's a Monday, so start off the week right. See y'all next one. Bye-bye.